Welcome to Garage Groove. Welcome to the shop. Welcome everybody to this next episode of Garage Groove. Thank you for joining us. As you know, we've been working on the Yamaha XS400. We've done a few things to it. This is going to be our third episode on it, and we have a lot in store on this episode. We're going to get the most done on this episode. I don't know if we're going to finish the bike, but we got a lot in store for you on this bike. We're hoping to get that first start on this bike. So thank you for joining us. Let's get right into it. What are we doing? Well, you remember the last time we kind of left off with the wiring. We kind of organized some of that stuff. We got our headlight in place. We got our dash put together. Now, some of this stuff is kind of corny, but we're trying to make use of what we have around in this shop, just as an example of how you guys can use what you have around the house. The theme of this project is budget and how you can have fun without spending a ton of money. Okay, that's what this is. This is a budget build, and remember, we're going to take this thing on the road and we're going to have fun with it, and it shouldn't cost us a ton of money. On this episode, we got a lot to do. We got some stuff in. We got a beautiful set, brand new gaskets we're going to be using. Not all of them. We're not doing the top end on it. It's got tons of compression. It spins beautiful. And we'll find out more about the engine once we get it started. If we hear any knocks, noises, anything like that, we'll go ahead and look into it. I don't expect anything. Everything seems very tight. We're going to need the case gaskets, the stator side and the clutch side. So we are going to... We're going to go ahead and put new clutch plates in this. Normally I wouldn't. If I'm running around the house, I would probably wait and see, how the clutches are. But I think since we're going on a long distance journey, it's not bad to put a new set of clutches in. It's a budget build, but remember, pick a nice bike if you want to do a budget build. This is an awesome bike. Any of your XS models, usually your 650s, are very popular. Your XS400s are very popular. When you get into the Hondas, the CB550s, the CB450s, the CB750s, those are all really nice bikes to work with, and the parts are very cheap. That's what I mean. See, this right here was 20 bucks. Full set of gaskets, the whole engine, 20 bucks. You're not rooting, you're not trying to find and scouring eBay and looking for this and looking for that. Not if you're getting these popular models, right? A whole set of clutch discs for this, 24 bucks. Is it worth it? Yeah. If you're going 1,000 miles, you might as well stick in some new discs. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So the other things we got this piece right here. We didn't have that. We ordered that. We got that. Okay. We got a gasket for this, so we can go ahead and hook up this piece right here. We are going to hook up this starter. Okay. Whether we hook it up to the switch up top, I don't know yet, but worst comes worst. I'd like this to be a nice kickstart bike, so it's always pretty cool to go somewhere and just kickstart it, but we'll see about that. What else did we get? We got a couple cables here. We got our clutch and our throttle cable, the gaskets, and I think that's about it. That's what we got on this. And then we got a couple other things, but they're not here yet. What we got is we got some decent levers coming. And then remember we talked about an accessory thing for the GPS. So we're going to have that. we got a couple other things going. So while we're working on this in the next day or two, those should arrive, and then we'll include that in the episode. But we're hoping to get the first start on this bike on this episode. So stay with us. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to start with is we want to put together our stator. We're going to go ahead and put that together, get it in its case, but we want to clean this thing out first. We want to clean it out, and then we'll put our gasket in. We're going to go ahead and hook up our starter because we're going to have the chain and everything hooked up to this. So we're going to go ahead and do all of that right now. So we're going to start with getting this cleaned up. Let's go ahead and get this piece cleaned up, and then we'll see you back in just a couple minutes. Okay, so we have installed our stator properly. Everything's in there nice and tight. Now we're going to go ahead and, you see I've already added this chain. It's a cute little setup. It's a little dinky sprocket. Look at this little guy. That, it's gonna kind of sit like this coming out of the starter, and we'll have it mounted. You know, I don't know if I'm gonna hook it up. The only reason I don't want to hook it up is because it's kind of cool to go somewhere and, you know, you're kickstarting it. That's old school. You know, it's I guess it kind of makes a cultural statement. I don't know. But we want to, I'll probably end up hooking up the button just to have it. But I really want to just use the kickstart. I think that's cool. So let's go ahead and get the starter hooked up. Then we'll put the new gasket on this case, and we'll button this side up. And then we'll hit the clutch side, and we'll replace the discs and everything and get that all set up. Then we'll do the oil change, and we'll clean the carbs, we'll hook all that up, and then we'll do our first start. So let's keep working. We'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so what we have done is, you can see how our little chain and sprocket setup is right there for the starter. We got our stator back in position. We're gonna go ahead and, we got a little bit of stuff here. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that up. Maybe clean some of this up. This is just dirt and grime and stuff. We're gonna get that out of there and get our new gasket on and button up our stator side. And then we'll go ahead on the flip side and get some new clutch discs and stuff in. Remember, we got to do the carbs this time too. Okay, we got a new carb kit. We're gonna go ahead and get the carb boots on, and got a lot of little stuff to do, but we're gonna go ahead and work towards getting our first start. Keep working. We'll see you. Okay, so we have buttoned up this side. Looks nice. We've got the stator cover on. We got our little dish on, and we're gonna go ahead and we need to clean this up. This looks pretty bad. We're gonna go ahead and clean that up, and then we're gonna move to the other side, and we're gonna go ahead and attach, we're gonna put a new gasket on the other cover, but remember, we're gonna put new clutch plates in. So we did get the clutch plates. Okay, we have cleaned this thing. We're gonna get the other side a little better once we get it ready to mount. We're not gonna mount it yet because I have to inspect the chain and make sure the chain and sprockets are good. So we're just gonna leave that off for now. We're gonna draw our attention to this side now. We're getting ready to do an oil change, and we're gonna put new clutches in this thing because I don't know, man, this thing's from 1980 and we're taking it on a long distance thing, and I don't want to mess around. I brought new clutches. If these clutches in here are good, I'll put them to the side for another day, but we're going to put new clutches in here for the trip. So let's get started on that. We're gonna go ahead and take this cover off. We'll put it back with the new gasket. But right now we're gonna get the oil drain plug, and if there is any oil in it, we'll pull it out and then we'll fill it up with new oil. All right, let's get going. Are ready to install our new clutch, but I want to take a look at the old plates. I wanted to see if this was the right move, you know. Now looking at these, I already took one out and inspected it, otherwise I wouldn't be talking right now. But you see this, these are war, man. There's hardly, this is so smooth, there's hardly any friction material left on these. So I'm glad I did that. I don't know what that would have resulted in on the trip, but you know, we could have ran into trouble. Maybe the clutch started slipping, or it didn't work properly, but these are definitely worn. There's nothing left of friction material on this. You got to remember, this thing's from 1980, you know, not from 2008 or something. This is an old bike, and you're planning on taking this on a long ride. You want to replace stuff like this. These are the new plates. So what I like to do with new plates is I like to immerse them in oil, you know, while we're removing these, and let's get them nice and soaked, and then we'll go ahead and switch these over. And then what we're going to do is we're going to clean all the covers, make them look, you know, somewhat decent. It doesn't cost nothing. This is a budget build. But remember, putting a little elbow grease into some of these covers and stuff doesn't cost you anything, just a little bit of time. I think it's worth doing it. So we're going to do that. We're going to put the new gasket on it and put the new clutch plates in, and we'll seal this, button this end up. So we'll see you in just a little bit. Okay, this is how I just get a Ziploc bag. I throw a little oil in it, and I just get them all, like, pretend they're chicken wings. How about that? Pretend they're chicken wings, and you're getting them all sauced up. So these are pretty good. I've shaken them up pretty good before I turn the camera on. Now, let's pull these out. Now, the way I like to do this is, I don't like to get too scientific about it. So what I do, I don't want to think about anything. I just put these face down, and that's going to be the order that they're going to go right back in. Okay? So we're not going to use, obviously, those clutch plates, but we're going to use the steel plates. So there's our first steel plate. Okay, so we have got to the point where we are going to put some oil in here. We've done quite a bit to each side. We've put together our stator side, we put together our clutch side, we put the new plates in. Now it's time to add some oil in there. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we just finished up the clutch side. Now, we examined the old clutch plates. They were in bad shape. I think those would have gave us trouble on the road, especially, when we were talking long distances. There was no friction left on those. So it was a good thing that was something we needed to do. We put new clutch friction plates in there. Steel plates look good. We put a new gasket in it, and we buttoned it all up. Okay, so, and then we tried to hit it a little bit, try to get some of that age in the crust off of it. I'm not gonna try to make that shine or nothing like that, but it looks clean. I mean, that's all we care about. We want it to look clean. Now we're gonna address the carbs. Okay, we got the carb boots. The carbs are down here, and we got the carb kit. Once we get the carbs cleaned and hooked on, then we can start giving attention to the top again. We can start hooking up our cables and our levers, and then once that's done, we'll go back to the electrical and finish up the USB and some of that stuff we wanted to do. We're not going to be able to button it completely up until we get our tail section on and get our tail lights hooked up. But we'll get to that. It's coming. It's coming. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and work on the carburetors and get those nice and cleaned and get them hooked on to the bike. We'll see you in just a minute. Okay, we have just built this carb. These slides were actually frozen, stuck. They're vacuum operated. We'll see, man. I don't know. This is a 1980 carb. These are vacuum operated carbs, and we did the best we could. We might have to go through it again. I don't know. We'll see what happens. The best thing to do right now is let's hook it up and use it for our first start and see what it does. A lot of times while it's running, you can spray and get some of it cleaned out. I think it should be good, but just when you're dealing with stuff this old, you don't know what you're gonna run into. I've had successful cleanings with old carbs, but every one is, you just don't know. I don't have the solutions, to park them in all night and electrolysis and all of that type of systems to clean these. So I just do them manually by hand, do the best I can. So let's go ahead and get this hooked up and see what happens. We're using the NGK. I always go with the NGKs. And BPR 7ES. That's actually a superseded number, and it's a modern plug. Okay, so we are back in the garage. Now, we've done a few things on this episode. I was going to do more, but time's getting a little short. I got some other stuff to do, but we are going to go for that first start. We got some cool stuff going on. Isn't that cool? Now, I don't have a whole lot into this thing. We're going to go over that before these episodes are done. Before we take it on the trip, I will let you know what I have into this. We had to go with the new tank. That set us back about $113, but it's a cool style. The other tank was just not going to work. And the tank that this bike came with, it was just too far gone, man. And by the time you spend, you know, the chemicals and all the time and effort to clean it, and to me, it's not worth it. It just dropped $113 and just get this thing. The other thing we did, this was $39. The seat. I know there's a lot of videos out there where guys are making their own seats and stuff. And again, to me, it's like, this is a nice enough seat, you know. I would have probably more than that into the materials if I tried to make my own seat. And the finished product probably wouldn't come out as good as this anyway. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to go for that first start. Let's quickly go over what we've done on this bike for this episode. Remember, we started on this side. We got the stator and all of that hooked up. We did a little bit of cleaning. We got this cover back on it. We didn't do a whole lot of wiring on this one. We finished up this side, and then we moved on to this side, the clutch side. So on this side, we added the new clutch discs. We did a little bit of cleaning up. We added fresh oil. So that's done. Then we took the carbs. We took them apart. We cleaned them, and hopefully they help us out during this first start. We also installed this little unit there. Okay, we did that. Then up top, we added these cool levers. Front brake's not hooked up. I'm actually missing a caliper, but I have an extra caliper from another bike. I'm going to see if I can make that work. That's going to be on the next episode. We did get our clutch working here. Works pretty good. We got our cables hooked up. There's our throttle. That works all right. So that's about it. So what we want to do now is we're going to end up fixing this exhaust, but we're going to run it for our first start anyways. Okay, so what we've done is I couldn't find another decent fuel tank to run fuel into this thing. So all we did was I sprayed some stuff down in here in both the cylinders, and we're basically just gonna test start this thing. I think that's on. Yeah. We're just gonna see if it fires. Okay, we haven't it's not gonna be an idle type of a situation. We just want to see if this thing is gonna run. Now I've got the battery already hooked up, and we're gonna turn the key and stuff on, and I'm gonna start kicking on it and see what happens. I'm gonna give it the phase on. Okay.
Oop, almost.
Ooh, we got a fire.
Almost.
There, you heard it. You heard the, let's see if we can get it to go again.
Ooh, that's almost.
She's a runner. Whoa.
It's probably dead now.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. It's gonna run. We'll get it idling and everything in the next episode, but she runs. That's all we wanted to do. It was not the type of first start that, you know, is idling and you're tuning things, and not like that. We had not heard this motor fire, so it's gonna fire. The only thing I added, I just sprayed some of this choke cleaner in there just to see if it was gonna fire. So it's good. She fires. So now we still got quite a bit of little stuff left on this. We're gonna go ahead and do that on the next episode. We wanted to get that first start, and that's what we did. We're gonna do a more legit first start on the next episode, where we have our tank is gonna be hooked up. We're gonna be hooking up the petcock. We'll probably have the seat on. We're gonna clean up this wire stuff. We got to do the front brakes. We still got quite a bit left.
Oh, yeah, the clutch.
Yeah, the clutch is done.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, clutch is done. Throttle's done. The front brake isn't though.
Is the chain good?
Chain's not bad.
Just oil. Needs oil.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna put some chain lube on it. I checked the front sprocket. Remember I said I don't want to put this on. I want to get that checked out first. The chain is good. Now the only thing is the cosmetic issue. But this is a budget build, so I'm not going to go ahead and put a gold chain on it. So
Yeah.
we're just going to run it. The chain's in good shape. We will lube it though. I'll probably end up taking it off and dunking it in some oil and lube, and then we'll put it back. That's going to conclude this episode. So on this episode, we did the stator, we did the clutch, we did the carbs, we did the cables, put the new levers on it.
We did the dash thing.
That was the last episode. And we got our first fire. That was key. We wanted to make sure this thing was going to fire, and we'll get a better take on it next episode, where we actually run it through the tank, so there's fuel running, and plus we want to get that exhaust fixed. So that's going to conclude this episode. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for joining us, subscribing, liking, and we're going to continue on this. And remember, these episodes, they're not coming every week, or they're taking 3 weeks to 4 weeks. We got a lot going on right now. In the background, we have a couple businesses we're working on, so that's taking up a lot of time. And then, of course, you got the kids and all of that stuff, regular work, and so that's why these episodes have kind of slowed down. But please stay with us, okay? We want to take you on a journey on this thing, and document it. So we definitely want you to be there with us on that. So thank you so much. We will see you on the next episode. Take care.